Hey, what's going on, everyone? We are here with Cara from the Ninja Babes. I have known Cara for, well, how long has it been now? It's over a year. So
About over a year.
a little over a year, right? Around that, a year or so. I know Cara through my friend Kyle, who was on the podcast recently as well, Kyle Mack. And we have her on today just because she has a mission and a goal in life that I think is valuable for our listeners to hear, for you to hear. And it's not just CrossFit oriented. It's kind of fitness in general. Obviously, by the term the Ninja Babe, she'll share a little bit of that as well, ninja training and everything. And you might have seen her. Some of you out there who follow ninja training and everything, you've probably seen her and some of her friends. I feel like the more I go on Instagram Explore, the more I see like your connection to people, which is kind of funny, and small world stuff for some people I know as well. But she has a story, she has a mission. I think what she has to say is important, as well as this past 6 months, wherever it's been as well. So please, Cara, take it away. Please let our listeners know who you are. And yeah, that's it.
Sweet. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to just talk with you and share my story. And I feel like we've reached a new level of friendship now that I'm like on your podcast. This is like a really memorable day. I'm going to write this on my calendar to look back on.
Well, it's funny, whenever we go out, Nas, me, you and Kyle, Nas and Kyle talk and then we talk.
That's true.
You know how that kind of works. So it's kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My name's Cara Poalillo. I've been competing with American Ninja Warrior for the past 2 seasons, and I was actually just cast for this season, for season 12. But because of everything with COVID-19, it's been postponed kind of until further notice. But I got involved with Ninja Warrior about 3 years ago, and it totally changed my life. Coming into the ninja community, as we call it, is just been so life-changing in so many ways. And you know, I stepped into this place of letting go of fears, like challenging my own self in ways that I never anticipated. And really, it led me to so many different things in my own personal life, but also I saw it as an opportunity to want to further support the women's community. Through Ninja Warrior, there have been so many women athletes who have really stepped up and surprised people, like made the world realize like, wow, women are strong. I think the TV show of American Ninja Warrior has had such a pivotal point of helping to change the way society sees females in fitness. And that is something that I'm super passionate about. And so being a part of Ninja Warrior led me to start the Ninja Babes. So it's a girls and women's empowerment group encouraging women to get out of their comfort zone and find new strength within themselves, both physically and mentally. And so, yeah, I've started the Ninja Babes podcast, been leading Ninja Babes as an empowerment group, and for the past close to 2 years, and competing on American Ninja Warrior, making it to city finals both years. It's just been like a dream come true. It's been awesome.
It's really cool.
And this past year, really at the end of season 11, last June, I had something crazy happen, and I was out of the competition personally. I'd already competed through city finals, but then I was in the national finals at Vegas, not as a competitor, but as kind of like a backstage tester. And I was on the obstacles far along in the finals level, so in stage 2, and I was testing the obstacle. Long story short, I ended up dislocating my shoulder, and I did not expect it to happen, was not foreseeing that at all, and kind of was in this place of like, before that happened, I had this mindset of like, I'm awesome. Like, I'm a Ninja Warrior, like, watch me be so strong. Like, I was just, not that I thought I was invincible, but I was on such a high of like every season hitting these milestones and like getting better and like just being so proud of how far I'd come. And so then when I dislocated my shoulder, it was kind of like a shock and like a slap in the face a little bit of like, wow, I know I'm strong and like, but I'm not invincible. Like, I'm not, things can still happen. Like, there's still so much more going on that apparently I wasn't aware of, that I was, could have been on the brink of injury possibly for a while. And like, finally, like, it all became this perfect storm of I dislocated my shoulder. So long story short, I mean, I can make the story longer if you want, but basically what happened was June, when I dislocated, I had to make the decision of what was I going to do. Like, I had a complete labrum tear on the anterior side of my labrum and a large Hill-Sachs lesion. So it's like a large divot in the humeral bone at the top where it inserts like into the shoulder joint cavity. And so my surgeon and my PTs were talking to me about the fact that like, you could go through physical therapy for a while and you can rehab back to the point where you can be a normal human and like do normal things. But if you want to get back on that ninja course and do like superhuman things like a ninja warrior, like you're probably going to need surgery just for the fact of doing all this high level athletic overhead stuff.
Yep.
As like, the mechanics of how it works, you're throwing laches, you're climbing, you're doing all this stuff overhead. It's so easy to rip it back out. Even if you build up the strength and build up the stability of those muscles around the shoulder, because of what we do in ninja, I could be so susceptible to just redislocating and then I'd be at square one. So made the decision to go through surgery, and that was really tough. I'd never had a surgery before. I knew it was going to be a long road of recovery. Other athletes who had the same surgery talked to me about it. And some of them talked to me about it because they were like, listen, I had that same surgery. A couple months later, I was like, I'm fine. I'm a gymnast. I'm a ninja, whatever. Went back to doing their sport too soon and redislocated, ripped out the anchors in their shoulder. So like, I just like had set it up in my mind, like, wow, I really want to do this right. I want to be patient through this whole process. I want to recover well. And so I did. Right now I'm 8 months post-surgery. Things have been going really well. I haven't had pain. I haven't had any other major problems come up. During the recovery process, there's been a few points of like other pains, like wrist pain, things like that. Like when I went back to doing a lot of like steady amounts of push-ups and things like that, just my wrist wasn't used to that load. And so
you haven't gotten to that position.
So literally. So there's things like small things like that came up, but nothing that was like a huge roadblock where we were like red flag. And so I'm just so thankful and grateful how far I've come. And through this whole process, I had already started Ninja Babes a while ago, but through my own physical struggles and like, the mental struggles that come with it, I realized how like the magnitude of the support that I was getting from the ninja community and amidst like this Ninja Babes community that I had been fostering. And so from that, now kind of like coming to, I don't want to say the end of my recovery. Like I feel like now I have a shoulder that's like anchored into place. Like I forever need to be taking care of it in a really, careful way. But now that I've come through the point where I'm able to like be getting back to sport and be ready to, be doing higher level competing and all that stuff. I've been able now to give back. So I've been able to, I'm starting to teach shoulder seminars with my physical therapist. So basically like I've gotten to the point where I don't want anyone else to go through what I went through. Part of it being out of like, I don't want to say ignorance, but just not realizing that like, wow, it could happen to me. Like, I know I was strong. I thought I was training well. I thought I was taking rest days. I thought I was doing all those things, but I was definitely ignoring warning signs that my body was like, hey, something's not really right in this like wheel of, how you should in a balanced way and like a equal way be like training, resting, good nutrition, like all these things. Something was off and I was just like ignoring the warning signs. So I don't want anybody to go through that if they don't have to, like if they can avoid it. So through Ninja Babes, through like my own work, I've really been dedicating so much time now to helping other athletes avoid injury, learn from what I went through. And I'm just continuing to now develop ways to do that. And, I'd already been teaching workshops about mindset before my injury, but now they've like taken on this whole new like magnitude of importance to me. And like, how can I help people in their mindset, not just in a competitive sense on the course, but also in a recovery sense. Like when you leave the gym, how are you like checking in on your own mental health and like, how are you building up your mindset to be ready to have that like mental strength to like, to sustain you when bad things happen. Like, how do you bounce back? How do you get through it? So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's like my story right now, but ask away. What else do you want to know?
Well, it's really cool. One of the things I find, unique about the space that you kind of live in, that it's also something about CrossFit as well as Spartan races, is that it's guys, girls, it doesn't matter. You are doing the obstacle course, you are doing the workout, you are doing the race. There's no, hey, you're a girl, so we're going to take everything extra easy on you type of thing, or there's none of that stuff. So one of the things I always found fun about CrossFit is anytime they do a run event, a run, swim, or anything like that, everyone starts together. and there's girls that just smoke the guys, right? And it's accepted. It is what it is. It's celebrated. And I think one of the neat things with Ninja Warrior, I remember watching it when it was just a obscure show, and like where there was a guy who was winning it who was a sailor who spent 10 months a year at sea, and he would train on his boat for it and stuff like that. So seeing how it's launched and how it's been this is something else that I think has in common with Spartan Race, CrossFit, Ninja Warrior training, is that it's a tribe that is very welcoming, and people are willing to do things for other people. So there's always a joke that CrossFit is a cult. I'm sure you've heard like CrossFit's a cult. Just so everyone knows, the difference between a cult and a tribe is in a cult, you'll do anything for the leader. And in a tribe, you'll do anything for the people that are part of it. Right. So that's like the major difference between the two. Mm-hmm. So I think that's during this process with you, with your shoulder, and seeing you how consistent you've been going to physical therapy and taking it one step at a time and not getting ahead, because that's something that we all kind of do. We all ignore certain signs, and anything that has more of a sport aspect to it, it's so easy to get pulled into doing the sport and not doing the training that allows you to do the sport. It happens to CrossFitters, happens to ninja training, anything that's also higher gymnastics based. It's just so easy for it to happen. So it's been pretty wild watching you go from, hey, I'm going to do a pull-up with a band and someone assisting me, to doing, different grip settings, offset pull-ups, everything like that over the time. So it's been very cool. As well as, since your big focus has been mindset, mostly for women, we had you speak, I believe, at Women's Day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, at SOAR.
Right. So I forget how long ago that was too. It's wild. But I think your media things you have going on, your podcasts, we have so many women at the gym. SOAR is mostly women. And if it's one of the health factors that they look at gyms, CrossFit gyms, back in the day, they used to say you needed to have more women than men at your gym to make sure it was actually healthy. If you have a whole bunch of dudes, it's not going to survive. So it's kind of funny. But I think there is a certain aspect to what you do, as well as the challenging and overcoming all the drills and skills that you need to do with Ninja Warrior training, that it really helps people. Hey, if you're going to overcome this in your training, you're going to overcome other mental aspects of your life. So I know on your site, I was on it recently, you have a whole mindset program, you have a mission statement, you have printable worksheets for everyone. So we'll make sure to link everything down below. Since we're in COVID-19 right now, we're kind of in shutdown and lockdown. How are you handling, hey, you only have you can't go to the physical therapy office as much. There's only so much stuff you can do at home. What are you doing to kind of keep yourself sane? Since you like to be fit, you like to exercise, you like to be physical. I just watched a video on your YouTube page of you learning skateboarding drills, and you fall really hard.
Yep.
Maybe I'll link that one. But,
oh yeah, definitely.
But how are you kind of staying sane and focused and making sure you're mentally healthy during this time?
Yeah, well, it's funny you bring up the skateboarding video, because I had got that skateboard a couple of weeks before quarantine, and I skated when I was like in middle school, but I kind of like fell away from it. And then I had a longboard in college that I would use. And I was like, man, I want to get back to like learning tricks and stuff. And so I ordered that skateboard from Mode Skateboards not that long ago. And when quarantine started, I was like, oh man, perfect time to like start brushing up on some of these skills and like do something new. And so, I had a pretty epic fall that I saw like my life flash before my eyes when I like smacked on the ground.
It was hard.
It was bad.
Felt hard. Yeah.
It was really bad. And in Ninja, like as other sports too, but in Ninja, like we're always talking about how to fall correctly. And I remember as I was falling being like, Cara, roll out. Like, why aren't you tucking to roll? But it happened so fast. It was just like,
slap.
I was down. There's I was able to like lift up my joints and stuff. There was no like hands just made on the ground. It was like, I turned my head in time.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, in quarantine, definitely just been thinking about like, what can I still do? I think that's always something that I also encourage other people is like, don't focus. Like you have to acknowledge the things that are gone, like the things that you can't go do. It's okay to acknowledge those things and realize them, but don't dwell there in such a way that you're just beating yourself down with all the things that you can't do. Yeah. And so for me, I've been thinking about what can I still do during this time? What creative new things can I come up with? What can I start working on at home that I'd been putting off all this time? And so a lot of like, let's see my environment. Let's like find something productive or creative or just something that's going to make me feel positive. And so I've been doing like way more journaling, way more thoughts. And that's something that I journal like regularly anyways. But just taking more time to like really delve into the inner workings of Cara's brain. Like I find it like very therapeutic and like helpful to like just dump out my brain, whether it's in the morning or at night or whatever. And just helps me come up with new ideas and like find connections that I didn't realize were there. But training at home, like I have a Ninja grip set up here. Maybe you can send some links or whatever like later to show in this podcast.
I've seen the pictures,
yeah. But so I can do quite a bit of upper body training at home just with those grips, but also like getting creative with like using chairs on an incline for like different types of push-ups or like decline or like whatever it is. I just love like seeing other people's creativity with workouts. I have a lot of friends who are trainers in the Ninja world and outside, and so it's like cool to see what they come up with, like what you can do with a towel, what you can do with a pillow, like all these different things, and just like being willing to explore and like willing to look at all those different things. But it's also like, you know, there's so many different aspects. We've been quarantined for like many weeks now. So
I don't even know how many weeks it is now. It's pretty crazy, but yeah.
So it's kind of like the first week was like, oh, be productive with like cleaning out your closet. And then I was like, well, I did that. Next week was like, all right, do this, do that. And something that I heard someone else talking about was the value of like allowing yourself to be bored.
Yep.
And
it's huge actually. Yep.
It doesn't, it's not this like, it can seem daunting and like, I'm bored and like, oh, don't be bored. Like there's a million things you could do, but like, why not just go be bored and then see what your brain can come up with? Yep. Like allow yourself to realize like what's going on, to realize like, maybe you've gone through your whole list of things to do, but sometimes it's out of those places of boredom that we finally will like allow ourselves to delve into those like deeper thoughts that we keep pushing to the wayside and we're not like willing to engage with till finally we're so bored that we're actually willing to think about some stuff that maybe you've been like pushing off.
We talked about this time as being an opportunity to have self-reflection, because a lot of us are so busy we don't have a lot of time for self-reflection,
right?
And then I'm trying to remember the book that it talks about let your kids be bored so that way they can be creative, but for adults too, because we usually have so many things that we're never able to kind of resolve kind of some of these thoughts that we have, whatever issues we're going through, as well as it forces you to be creative, since you're not going out to work, you're not having this, you're not having that, you don't have a birthday party this weekend, you don't have that, you don't have this. There's so much more free time and you can learn a ton about yourself, and you can also develop new ideas, because right now I've been talking about a lot of people, but right now is like a great time to try stuff. Right. So we were on a phone call yesterday with someone where they just ordered all their camera equipment because they're going to, something they've been thinking about for a year or longer, they're putting together. So they're getting all their camera equipment and microphones and all that stuff set up for it. But right now boredom allows you to be creative. It is very hard to be creative when you're not bored. If you're just always going. And with children, it's super important because so many people don't let their kids get bored. Like they see their kids complaining that they're bored is a negative thing. It's like, nope, it's part of the developmental process. If you can't handle being still and being bored, like that is a scary thing, because you never actually know who you are, and you're always just outside yourself constantly. So we want to make sure that being bored is good. It's funny you brought that up. I've been thinking about that. Like being bored is a really good thing. Quick question. What were you doing before Ninja Warrior?
Before Ninja Warrior,
when it comes to like fitness or health or anything like that?
Well, like way before, in high school, middle school, I ran track and played volleyball. Team captain, go volleyball. And then in college, I wasn't on any formal sports teams. I played a lot of like intramural, ultimate frisbee and volleyball, and just like went to the gym. But I was more so focused on like different aspects of like art and different hobbies that I had. But then after college, I was just going to the gym. I actually really, really had this season of like, I miss sports, and probably also since I didn't do them through college, like it had really been a while. So after college, I got a gym membership, and I found myself going to every class possible because I just missed like the team and camaraderie aspect of life. And so I spent a few years doing that. And then eventually I started working with a trainer who was helping me with strength training. And so that's when I got my first pull-ups, really learned a lot about like the mechanics of training well in the gym with weights, how to do that safely, how to have the correct techniques and like all this stuff. And he was someone who really inspired me to like realize that I can be strong. And he was never like, oh, you don't want to do pull-ups, or like he never like had me shy away from anything because I was a girl. He showed me the whole gym and he was like, let's explore. Like nothing was off limits.
Cool.
And I think that really set me up for a good mindset a good mindset for Ninja, because once I started Ninja, again, it was like I had some confidence that I was bringing into the Ninja gym. And so it was like, all right, now let's go at it and like see what I can do. And when I started Ninja, like I really, even though I could do a couple pull-ups, I didn't really have the grip strength for Ninja because it's very different.
Yeah, it's crazy, the grip strength.
Yeah,
it's really, really hard. It's
and
really
so
hard.
Yeah, they'd be showing me like the easy grips of like cannonballs that your whole, like, here's the thing and your whole hand can like fit around it. They'd be like, come on, do the cannonballs. And I'd be like, whoop, just like sliding off of everything. And so it was humbling, but it was also very exciting. It was like what I could do was so fun that it was just addictive. And what I couldn't do yet was just inspiring and challenging. And then as you get to do a little bit more, it's just like such an addiction that you can like snowball into because you just want to do it more and more.
Yeah. Well, we always tell people at the gym, like, to get out of the CrossFit gym and like go have fun. And I think the Ninja Warrior gyms are, even if it's just like a rock climbing gym, stuff like that is a fun thing to throw in, just because also we don't have that grip, the finger grip strength. We don't do a lot of that stuff. So I think for a lot of people who do CrossFit, it's very humbling the first time you go rock climbing or the first time you go to a Ninja gym, just because you try to overpower through it instead of actually learning. So it's one of those really funny things where it is humbling for so many people I know. So I'm not sure if you ever met Krishna. He's a coach at the gym. He loves rock climbing. He loves doing all sorts of fitness, but he really, really enjoys a lot of obstacle training for Ninja training. So you'll see him just doing crazy stuff. And then one of our friends who lives out in California comes to visit every once in a while. His name's Shaka. And usually no one can keep up with Krishna and stuff. And Shaka went up and he's been following just strict gymnastics training with CrossFit for a couple of years. And he was just crushing all the obstacles and like walking away like it was okay. Just because in his gymnastics training through Gymnastics Bodies, it's a program, he has done so much of that grip work and just getting used to positions and controlling, because if you only use a barbell or if you only use a pull-up bar, you're always just in a closed chain exercise, where so much of Ninja training is open chain. You're one hand, things are moving. So you can't just, use tension to create stability on the object. You need to have enough stability in your joints, which is a totally different ball game compared to what most people do. So I think it's fun. I think it's something that people should go play with. We've tried to set up parties with the gym and everything. Hasn't gone quite well yet just because they're usually further away. But hopefully post-quarantine that will change. So I know you're working on that. So anyway, thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate it. Where can people find you? Where are the Instagram handles, YouTube?
Yeah, they can definitely check out more of the Ninja Babes on Instagram at the Ninja Babes or theninjababes.com. If you want to check out my personal handle for a lot of my training videos at home and all those things, it's my name is Cara, all one word. My name is Cara. And then also on YouTube on the Ninja Babes.
Cool. I will make sure to link it below. And just so everyone knows, she was saying, my name is Cara. That is her Instagram handle. My name is Cara with a C.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.